The greatest tragedy in life is not that people aim too high and miss. It's that they aim too low and hit. Most people don't fail because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity. They fail because they settle. They live in a prison of their own making, built from excuses, fears, and comfort, not locked in by walls, but by their own thinking. Success isn't a mystery, it's a formula, a way of thinking, a way of living. But here's the hard truth. Most will never follow it. Not because they can't, but because they won't. They choose comfort over growth, distraction over discipline, and excuses over action. Success doesn't come wrapped in a gift box. It isn't handed out to the lucky few. No, success is something you earn through discipline, through sacrifice, through the willingness to do what others won't. And here's the truth most people ignore. If you don't pay the price for success, you'll pay the price for failure. Most people want wealth, they want freedom, they want the good life. But when it comes time to put in the effort, they hesitate. They say it's too hard. They say, I don't feel like it today. And that's why most people live the same year over and over again, calling it a life. They refuse to sacrifice the comforts of the present for the rewards of the future. They refuse to trade entertainment for education, comfort for challenge, short-term pleasure for long-term gain. But let me tell you something, you either suffer the pain of discipline or you suffer the pain of regret. One weighs ounces, the other weighs tons. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's the ability to get up when you don't feel like it. It's the ability to work on your goals when no one is watching. It's the ability to say no to distractions and yes to the things that will move your life forward. You see, every day you are faced with a choice. Do you take the easy road or do you take the hard road? Most will take the easy road because it's comfortable. But comfort is a slow poison. It lulls you into mediocrity, and before you know it, you've wasted years waiting for success instead of working for it. I knew a young man once full of potential but trapped by his own excuses. He would talk about his dreams, about the business he wanted to build, about the financial freedom he longed for. But when it came time to work, when it came time to read, to study, to develop skills, to put in the hours, he always had an excuse. I'll start tomorrow, he'd say. And tomorrow never came. 5 years passed and he was in the same place, still talking about what he was going to do. Why? Because he never embraced discipline. He never made the sacrifices required for success. Success demands sacrifices. It demands that you trade temporary pleasures for lasting rewards. It means waking up early when others sleep. It means investing in yourself when others are wasting time. It means working on your goals even when you don't feel like it. And most people aren't willing to do it. They want success, but they don't want the struggle. They want wealth, but they don't want the work. They want freedom, but they don't want to give up their comforts. And that's why so few succeed. Let me tell you what separates those who win from those who lose. It's not intelligence. It's not luck. It's not talent. It's discipline, the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. You see, feelings are dangerous. If you let them control you, you'll never get anywhere. One day you feel motivated, so you work hard. The next day you don't feel like it, so you do nothing. But the ones who succeed, they don't wait for motivation. They act. They wake up and do what they said they were going to do, no matter how they feel. A great man once said, "The road to success is dotted with many tempting parking spaces." How true is that? Most people start strong, full of energy, full of ambition. But somewhere along the way, they get tired, they slow down, they park. They tell themselves they'll get moving again later, but they never do. Success doesn't come to those who park. It comes to those who keep going, who keep pushing, who keep sacrificing until they reach their goal. So ask yourself, are you willing to pay the price? Are you willing to sacrifice your excuses, your comforts, your distractions? Because if you are, then there's nothing stopping you. Success is not reserved for the lucky. It's reserved for the disciplined. It's reserved for those who are willing to put in the work when no one is watching, when it's not convenient, when it's hard. Because at the end of the day, success is not given, it is earned. And the price is paid in discipline and sacrifice. Money isn't just numbers on a paycheck. It isn't just what you earn. It's what you keep, what you grow, and how you use it. The difference between those who build wealth and those who stay broke isn't luck, it isn't opportunity, it's financial intelligence. And here's the hard truth most people ignore. If you don't master money, money will master you. Most people spend their entire lives working for money, but they never learn how money works. They trade their time for a paycheck. They spend what they earn, and when there's nothing left, they wait for the next paycheck to do it all over again. They live in a cycle of survival, always working, always earning, but never getting ahead. Why? Because no one ever taught them the rules of the game. No one ever taught them that money is a tool, not just a reward. The wealthy think differently. They don't see money as something to spend. They see it as something to multiply. They don't chase higher salaries. They chase higher returns. They understand that every dollar is a seed that can be planted, nurtured, and grown into something far greater. That's why the rich keep getting richer while most people stay stuck. It's not about luck, it's about knowledge. I once knew a man who made a fortune, but he spent it faster than he earned it. He had the cars, the house, the lifestyle, but he never took the time to learn about money. He thought wealth was about how much you make, not how much you keep. And do you know what happened? Within a few years, he was broke. The money disappeared as quickly as it came because he didn't have the financial intelligence to keep it. Contrast that with another man I knew who started with very little. He worked hard, but more importantly, he worked smart. Instead of spending everything he earned, he saved, he invested, he studied the principles of wealth. He learned about assets and liabilities. He understood that wealth isn't built by working more hours, it's built by making your money work for you. And over time, he became financially free. Not because he was lucky, not because he had some special advantage, but because he understood money. A wise man once said, if you give a fool $1 million, he'll be broke again in a few years. But if you take away a millionaire's fortune, he'll make it back. Why? Because wealth is not a number, it's a mindset. It's the ability to manage, multiply, and sustain money. And without that ability, no amount of income will ever be enough. Most people believe the answer to their financial struggles is to make more money. If only I had a higher salary, they say, if only I had a better job. But the truth is, more money doesn't fix bad financial habits, it magnifies them. If you can't manage $1,000, you won't manage 10,000. If you waste 10,000, you'll waste 100,000. That's why so many lottery winners go broke. They receive millions, but they never learn the discipline of wealth. So what's the difference? It's financial intelligence. It's understanding that money should work for you, not the other way around. It's learning the principles of wealth, saving, investing, managing risk, understanding assets and liabilities. It's realizing that financial freedom isn't about earning more. It's about controlling what you have. And here's the secret. Anyone can learn it. Anyone can change their financial future, no matter where they start. But you must be willing to do what most people won't. Study, learn, apply. Read the right books, seek out mentors, develop the habits that build wealth instead of destroy it. Because at the end of the day, financial intelligence is the great divider. It separates those who struggle from those who thrive. It determines whether you live your life chasing money or whether money works for you. Most people start with excitement. They set goals, they dream big, they make plans. But the moment it gets hard, the moment they face resistance, they stop. They hesitate. They second guess themselves, and eventually they quit. That's why success belongs to the few, because most people don't have the mindset to endure the struggle. The ones who make it, the ones who rise to the top, they don't quit when it gets hard. They don't back down when life throws obstacles in their way. They don't let failure define them. They understand something most people ignore. Success is not about talent, it's not about intelligence, and it's certainly not about luck. It's about mental toughness. It's about having an unbreakable mindset that refuses to give up no matter what. I once met a man who had every reason to quit. He started a business, but it failed. He tried again, and it failed again. He lost money, he lost time, he lost confidence. Any reasonable person would have said, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I should do something else. But he didn't. He kept going. He studied his mistakes, he adjusted his approach, and he tried again. And on the third try, he made it work. He built a company that created wealth, not just for himself, but for generations after him. Now compare that with the majority of people. The moment they fail, they see it as a sign to stop. They take it personally. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I wasn't meant to succeed. They let fear dictate their actions. And because they quit, they never see what was possible. They never realized that success was right around the corner. A wise man once said, "A river cuts through rock not because of its power, but because of its persistence." That's the key. Persistence. Not intelligence, not luck, not background, but the ability to keep going when most people stop. The difference between those who make it and those who don't is simple. The ones who make it don't allow fear to control them. They don't let setbacks define them. They don't see obstacles as a reason to stop. They see them as a test to see how badly they want it. Most people treat pain and struggle as signals to quit. They say it's too hard, it's too uncomfortable. But the successful know that discomfort is the price of greatness. They understand that if it were easy, everyone would do it. The difficulty is what makes it valuable. Think about the people who achieve wealth and success. Do you think they had it easy? Do you think they never failed? No. What sets them apart is that they never let failure be the final chapter. They learned, they adjusted, and they kept going. Because in the end, success doesn't go to the smartest, the luckiest, or the most talented. It goes to the ones who refuse to quit. The question is, will you be one of them? Or will you let the struggle break you like it breaks most people? The choice is yours. Most people have it all backward. They think success is about looking the part, driving the fancy car, wearing the expensive watch, living in the big house. They chase the appearance of wealth, not realizing that real wealth isn't about what you see. It's about what you don't see. The majority of people, they work hard just to spend harder. The moment they get a raise, they upgrade their lifestyle. They finance a luxury car they can't afford. They buy designer clothes to impress people who don't care. And they spend their weekends showing off instead of building up. And then when an emergency hits, when the economy shifts, when the bills pile up, they're stuck because they never built anything real. They were too busy looking rich instead of becoming rich. The wealthy, the truly successful, they play a different game. They don't spend their money to impress others. They don't waste time showing off. They know that wealth is built in silence. It's built with discipline, with patience, with smart financial choices. While the majority are buying liabilities, the wealthy are buying assets. While the majority are spending to feel successful, the wealthy are investing to become successful. I once knew a man who lived in the same modest house for decades. Even after he became a millionaire, people would look at him and think he was just another ordinary guy. No fancy car, no designer clothes. But behind the scenes, he owned real estate. He had businesses generating cash flow. He had investments working for him while he slept. And when people who looked richer than him struggled financially, he remained secure because he built real wealth instead of chasing an image. A wise man once said, "If you buy things you don't need, soon you'll have to sell things you do need." That's the mistake most people make. They spend today without thinking about tomorrow. They put on a show, trying to prove they're successful, while the truly successful stay quiet and keep building. Look at those who stay broke their entire lives. They live paycheck to paycheck, not because they don't make money, but because they never learned how to keep it. The moment they get paid, it's gone. They finance cars, they take vacations they can't afford, they rack up credit card debt because they want to feel rich now. The wealthy do the opposite. They live below their means, they invest wisely, and they let their money grow. They don't care about looking rich because they know that true wealth isn't in the clothes you wear or the car you drive. It's in the freedom you have, the freedom to walk away from a job you hate, the freedom to spend time with your family, the freedom to live life on your terms without worrying about the next paycheck. That's the difference. The majority chase the illusion of wealth, while the successful build the reality of wealth. And in the end, when the show is over and the bills come due, only one group is left standing. The question is, Which one will you be? Time is the most valuable asset you will ever have. Not money, not connections, not talent, time. Because time is the one thing you can never get back. And yet most people waste it like they have an unlimited supply. They treat it casually, they let distractions steal it, they trade it for things that bring no value. Then one day they wake up and wonder why they're still struggling, why success keeps slipping through their fingers. The successful, they see time differently. They guard it like a treasure. They don't let it slip away in meaningless conversations, in mindless entertainment, in habits that do nothing to move them forward. They take control of their time because they understand that how you spend your hours is how you build your life. Look around and you'll see most people caught in the same cycle. They wake up late, rush to work, waste hours on distractions, complain about not having enough time, and then do it all over again the next day. They scroll through their phones for hours, watch television for entertainment, waste weekends doing nothing productive, yet they say they don't have time to start a business, to read a book, to develop new skills. It's not that they don't have time, it's that they don't value it. The successful, they know every wasted hour is an opportunity lost. They don't waste mornings sleeping in when they could be working on their goals. They don't waste nights watching television when they could be learning something new. They don't waste weekends partying when they could be building their future, because they know success isn't about luck, it's about what you do with your time. But I watched him spend hours gossiping, hours scrolling through his phone, hours complaining about his situation. He had the same 24 hours as everyone else. He just chose to waste them. And because he wasted his time, life wasted no time leaving him behind. There's an old saying, you can make more money, but you can't make more time. The wealthy understand this. That's why they focus on leverage. They invest in businesses, they build systems, they delegate tasks so they can free up their time for what truly matters. The unsuccessful, on the other hand, trade all their time for money. They work endlessly, but they never get ahead because they've never learned how to control their time. The majority spend their time reacting to life instead of designing it. They live on someone else's schedule, always busy but never productive. The successful, they plan their days with intention. They set goals. They block out distractions. They make sure every hour is spent wisely. They don't just let time happen to them, they happen to time. If you want success, you must take control of your time. Stop wasting it on things that don't bring value. Stop letting others dictate how you spend your days. Stop using the excuse of I don't have time when the truth is you're just not prioritizing the right thing. Because in the end, time will either be your greatest asset or your biggest regret. And the choice is yours. Most people spend their lives avoiding risk. They play it safe, stay within their comfort zones, and never step beyond what feels familiar. They fear failure, so they never try. They fear loss, so they never invest. They fear rejection, so they never take a chance. And because of this, they stay exactly where they are, year after year, wondering why nothing changes. But the successful, they think differently. They know that avoiding risk is the biggest risk of all. They understand that playing it safe is what keeps people stuck, because no great reward comes without some level of risk. They don't gamble blindly, but they take calculated risks, the kind that lead to growth, opportunity, and success. I once met a man who had a dream of starting his own business. He had the skills, the knowledge, and even the resources to get started, but he was afraid. Afraid of failing, afraid of losing money, afraid of what people might say if things didn't work out. So he stayed in his comfortable job, never taking the leap. Years passed, and guess what? He was still in the same place, still unhappy, still wondering what could have been. His fear of risk cost him his dream. Now, I knew another man who had the same dream, but instead of letting fear stop him, he took action. He studied successful businesses, learned from mentors, and took calculated steps to build something of his own. He didn't wait for the perfect time because he knew there would never be one. He understood that success requires bold moves, and today, he's financially free while the other man is still stuck in the same routine, wondering why success never came his way. It's not that successful people are fearless. They feel fear just like everyone else, but they don't let it control them. They don't let fear be the reason they stay small. They know that every great success story is built on risk, on stepping into the unknown, on making decisions that most people are too afraid to make. Think about this. Every wealthy person you admire, every successful entrepreneur, every great leader, they all took risks. They invested when others hesitated. They started businesses when others doubted. They took chances on themselves when no one else would. And because of that, they succeeded. The unsuccessful, they look at risk and see danger. The successful, they look at risk and see opportunity. They understand that no investment is guaranteed. No business venture comes without challenges, and no path to wealth is completely secure. But they also know that the biggest failure in life is not trying at all. I once heard someone say, "What if I take a risk and lose everything?" And I asked, what if you never take a risk and stay exactly where you are? Because that's what most people do. They let fear paralyze them, and in the end, they still lose. But not because they tried and failed, but because they never tried at all. Now, does that mean you should take blind risks? No. The successful don't just jump without thinking. They study, they plan, they learn, and then they act. They don't avoid risk, but they make sure the risks they take are intelligent. So ask yourself, are you letting fear hold you back? Are you waiting for the right moment that will never come? Are you sitting on the sidelines while others take action? Because the truth is, if you want to win in life, you must be willing to take risks. Not foolish risks, but smart, strategic risks. Because in the end, the people who never take risks never get ahead. And the people who succeed, they're the ones who had the courage to step forward when everyone else was too afraid to move. Most people are waiting for motivation to strike, waiting for the right moment, waiting until they feel ready. But let me tell you something. If you wait until you feel like it, you'll be waiting for the rest of your life. Because motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the wind. Some days you wake up inspired, ready to take on the world. Other days you feel tired, discouraged, and unwilling to move. If you depend on motivation, you'll only work when it's easy. And that's why most people never achieve real success. But the successful, they don't rely on motivation. They rely on discipline. They don't ask themselves, do I feel like doing this today? No. They ask what needs to be done, and then they do it, whether they feel like it or not. I once knew a young man who wanted to change his life. He wanted to get in shape, start a business, and improve his finances. And for the first few weeks, he was on fire, waking up early, hitting the gym, working late into the night. But then the excitement wore off. The motivation faded. One morning, he woke up and thought, I don't feel like working out today. The next day, he thought, maybe I'll work on my business tomorrow. And before long, he was right back where he started, stuck, frustrated, and wondering why success always seemed out of reach. Now, I knew another man who had the same goals, but instead of waiting for motivation, he built discipline. He made a decision that his actions wouldn't depend on how he felt. He woke up early every day, even when he was tired. He worked on his business, even when he didn't feel like it. He trained his mind to push forward, no matter what. And because of that, he succeeded. The difference between these two men wasn't talent. It wasn't intelligence. It was discipline. One waited to feel motivated. The other took action, whether he felt like it or not. Most people live their lives controlled by their emotions. If they don't feel like working hard, they don't. If they don't feel like saving money, they spend it. If they don't feel like reading, they watch TV instead. They let their feelings dictate their future. And that's why they never reach their full potential. The successful, they understand that discipline is what separates winners from losers. They know that emotions are temporary, but habits are permanent. They don't wait for the perfect mood to take action. They develop the habit of taking action every single day. Think about a farmer. He doesn't wake up in the morning and say, do I feel like planting seeds today? No. He plants them anyway because he knows that if he skips a day, he won't have a harvest. Success is the same way. You don't plant seeds only when you feel like it. You plant them every day because that's the only way to reap the rewards later. I once heard someone say, I'll start when I feel more inspired. And I told them, no, you start now and inspiration will follow. Because the truth is, motivation comes after action, not before. When you take action consistently, your results create motivation. You see progress, and that fuels you to keep going. But if you wait for motivation first, you'll never even get started. Now, does that mean discipline is easy? No. But that's why so few people succeed, because discipline is the price of greatness. It's waking up early when you'd rather sleep in. It's saying no to distractions when others are wasting time. It's showing up every single day no matter what. So ask yourself, are you waiting to feel motivated, or are you willing to build the discipline that leads to success? Because at the end of the day, the people who succeed are not the ones who always feel motivated. They're the ones who learn to show up and put in the work even when they didn't feel like it. Most people want success, but they want it now. They want wealth, but they don't want to wait. They want the rewards, but they're not willing to plant the seeds and let time do its work. And that's exactly why most people never achieve lasting wealth, because they trade the future for the present. They sacrifice long-term success for short-term pleasure. They chase instant gratification, and in doing so, they trap themselves in a cycle of struggle and mediocrity. But the wealthy, they think differently. They don't ask, what feels good right now? They ask, what will pay off in the future? While most people are spending money on things that won't matter in a year, the wealthy are investing. While most are wasting time on distractions, the wealthy are building skills. While most are chasing quick fixes, the wealthy are making decisions that compound over time. I once met a man who was always broke. No matter how much money he made, he was always struggling. And do you know why? Because every time he got paid, he spent it all. On clothes, on cars, on nights out. He lived for the moment. He never thought about the future. And every time an opportunity came, he didn't have the money to invest because he had spent it all trying to look successful instead of becoming successful. Now, I knew another man who made the same amount of money, but he had a different mindset. He didn't care about impressing people today. He cared about building something for tomorrow. He lived below his means. He invested in himself. He bought books instead of luxury. He built his skills instead of chasing entertainment. And over time, those decisions paid off. While the first man stayed broke, the second man became wealthy. Not because he was luckier, not because he was smarter, but because he was willing to delay gratification. Most people don't realize that every decision they make is either planting a seed for the future or stealing from it. Every dollar you spend is either growing your wealth or keeping you stuck. Every hour you waste is either moving you closer to success or pushing you further away. And if you want to know where you'll be in 5 years, just look at the choices you're making today. A farmer doesn't plant a seed and expect a tree the next morning. He understands that growth takes time. And that's the mindset you need if you want to build wealth. You have to be willing to sacrifice today for something greater tomorrow. You have to be patient enough to let your investments grow, to let your skills compound, to let your hard work pay off. I once met a young man who told me, I want to be successful, but I don't want to wait 10 years. And I told him, then you'll be struggling for the next 50. Because the truth is, success takes time. And if you're not willing to think long-term, you'll spend your whole life chasing short-term rewards that never lead anywhere. Look around. Most people are drowning in debt because they wanted things before they could afford them. Most people are stuck in jobs they hate because they never invested in learning new skills. Most people are struggling financially because they spent years prioritizing pleasure over progress. But you have a choice. You can keep chasing instant gratification, or you can start making decisions that will change your future. You can keep living for the moment, or you can start thinking like the wealthy, long-term, strategic, and patient. So ask yourself, are you planting seeds for the future, or are you eating them today? Because wealth isn't built overnight. It's built through consistent, disciplined effort over time. And the sooner you embrace that truth, the sooner you'll put yourself on the path to real success. If you've been listening carefully, you now understand why most people never achieve real success. It's not because they lack talent. It's not because they don't have opportunities. It's because they ignore the hard truths. They chase comfort instead of challenge. They avoid risk instead of embracing growth. They waste time instead of investing it. They want quick results instead of lasting wealth. And because of that, they stay stuck year after year, wondering why success always seems out of reach. But the good news is, you don't have to be like most people. You can make a different choice. You can decide right now that you will do what others won't, so you can live how others can. You can develop financial intelligence. You can build an unshakable mindset. You can stop wasting time and start using it wisely. You can embrace discipline, take smart risks, and think long-term instead of chasing short-term pleasure. The question is, will you? Because knowing these principles isn't enough. You have to apply them. You have to get up every day and take action. You have to be willing to do the work, even when it's hard, even when it's inconvenient, even when nobody is watching. That's what separates the few who succeed from the many who fail. So, take a look at your life right now. Where are you making excuses? Where are you avoiding responsibility? Where are you choosing comfort over progress? Be honest with yourself, because nothing will change until you do. And then make a decision, not a wish, not a hope, a decision. Decide that from this moment forward, you will think differently, you will act differently, you will take control of your future. Because the truth is, success isn't reserved for the lucky. It's not a secret, it's a formula. And those who follow it win. So, start today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Begin reading books on wealth and success. Start tracking how you spend your time and your money. Surround yourself with people who push you to be better. Develop the habits that will lead to success even when no one else does. Because 5 years from now, you will arrive. The question is, where? Will you be wealthier, wiser, and more successful? Or will you be in the same place, making the same excuses, wondering why nothing changed? The choice is yours. And if you choose wisely, your future will be far greater than your past.